to make such an arrangement to tell your children that you have to fear your mother and you have to fear her that much that you have to use an alarm button if you see her. That's terrible, and that's manipulation in top level. People in Germany, they need to know that this is not the right story that has been told in the news media until now. For a few years ago, I published a book in Germany about the Nord Stream gas pipeline. And at that time, I got some German colleagues interviewed me, and I got connected to them. And New Year's evening, or the day after New Year's evening, 2024, one of those guys from Germany called me and asked, "Do you have some background on the story about the kidnapping that happened in Jutland last night?" And said, "Which kidnapping? I haven't heard anything about it. The Danish newspapers and media hasn't reported anything about it." So I started digging a little into the story and thought that this is an amazing story. A kidnapping here in Denmark. That's normally things you only see on movies and things like that. And normally I'm quite a serious journalist, so I thought this is a true crime story. That's nothing for me. But then I researched the story and I saw there's many more layers in that story than a true crime story and a spectacular kidnapping. For instance, what has happened since the father in 2021, after Papa-Weekend, kept the children in Denmark without the permission from the mother. What has happened in between? And I investigated into it. I got access to case files from both Germany and from Denmark. And suddenly a story popped up, revealed a new truth, another truth than this one you are reading about in German media. German media are only concentrating about that rich lady, Christina Block, and what she's up to, and her family, and how she has engaged with private detectives and military people from Israel and things like that. All that tabloid story. But there's another side of that story, the Danish part of the story. And it's never been told in Germany because maybe the things that Christina Block had done has escalated the story and the affair in some way. But actually, the people who escalated the story into that drama it ended up with, that's actually the father and his Danish wife, Astrid. Because I could see in the case files from the authorities, from the Jugendamt, from the police, and I could see how they manipulated authorities, telling them things that was not true. And that they, from the day one, or actually the day after they kept the children in 2021, Astrid reported Christina Block to the German police, saying that she was violating her children physically and psychologically, and a lot of claims. And even the day before, she had posted a mail to the authorities in Denmark telling about that violent mother in Germany, and that the children were very scared, and she was beating them up and not allowed them to have a shower and soap, and they were always in worn-out clothes and dirty, and she even said that once she kept the children from for a weekend. She had to pull down the window in the car because they were smelling that badly. So she would have to puke if she not driving with the open window.
Why do you think this is not true? What they have told the police at that former times about that situation?
Because the stories they told the police, I could check up other files. This is not correct. And for instance, they signed in the children at a school in Denmark, a German language school in Denmark. And at that time, they told the headmaster, the mother in Germany, she has lost custody and she's not allowed to see the children. So
and that was not true at that time.
She had custody.
They have told everybody anything, and nobody has proved it if it's true.
Nobody, everybody believed it.
Because in Germany, it's unbelievable that you can keep German children in a different state and just going on with your normal lives, and nobody cares, you know. It seems like the Danish government protects the family of Stephan Hensel.
You know, we are not a part of the EU family law. So if Stephan Hensel, he had moved to Holland and kept the children there, and then he had been ordered to deliver back the children immediately to the mother because he was not allowed to restrain the children. But in Denmark, it's different because we are not a part of that European Act. So in Denmark, they say, as long as there's no proof that she's not beating the children, we are keeping the children here. And that's why, and then he and his wife has constantly claimed that she is very violent.
Do you think it's they have gone to Denmark in purpose because they know the law in Denmark and they know this is maybe a chance to keep the children? Because Astrid, it's almost the same with her children.
The way Denmark behaves, it's paradise for child adopters. If one parent in the European community wanted to take away his children from the divorced wife, divorced partner, go to Denmark. You will be safe there.
Yeah, and now it's even more because now there is a public case. Everybody knows about it. Yeah. And maybe some people also think about going to Denmark to keep their children, you know?
And actually, I checked up on that it grew more and more from year to year.
Like that case, same cases? Or...
Yeah.
In the article in the Focus yesterday, they've also reminded that when he claimed about the abuse, Stephan Hensel, then they have also asked the children 2021 at the court in Hamburg through experts, social experts and psychologists. It was written that they cannot even remember, and they told the story in different kind of ways.
But suddenly they are telling the same story again and again.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was obvious that they're using the same phrases, the same words than Stephan Hensel. But before that, they were not really sure. And when as a child, when you get a trauma, when you really get abused, then you remind really everything, every detail. You can tell the story in 100 different times, and it's always the same story. And here it wasn't.
The reports, the hearings with the children, and from time to time, it's escalating the argumentation about how violent she is. Suddenly, in the beginning, they told that she had grabbed them on the back, on the neck. Then she had hidden them, and that continued. So, but you also know, I have seen all the reports from the psychologist and from the diploma psycholog sent out from the family court in Germany, and he was telling about that the children, they are living in a world of fear because their father is manipulating them, telling them stories, telling them how bad the mother behaves, and telling them that your mother wants me to go to jail. And he said, believe if you tell a child that your father is going to jail, you will protect him, and you will tell the same story to avoid that to happen.
It was like a cut, you know. There was not every second weekend splitting the holidays like she has done it before, like it's regular in Germany. So there was a cut, and then you have no, no interaction at all, and that is not normal. That makes no normal parent.
Because he blocked it every time.
Yeah.
And I have all the documents. I have the letters, the emails he and his wife sent to the authorities in Denmark, saying that we will object about the mother seeing the children on next Friday because we fear that there's a kidnapping coming up, and they will use that opportunity to kidnap the children and things like that.
And you know that with that interpretation, he changes who really are the children.
Yeah.
And then he has the fear that they have to go back to Hamburg. Of course, usually this was their home. Of course, the fear was there, and maybe they wanted to change and wanted to stay in Hamburg, and that was his fear. It was not the mother, it was the whole family that were excluded. Also the friends, the normal life in Hamburg, nothing was left. They have broken to everything, and that is also totally unusual behavior for children.
You see, already 10 days after they kept the children, they had to go to a hearing in Germany, in Hamburg. And at that time, they claimed that they feared that Christina Block would kidnap the children. So they asked for a bodyguard, and they asked for extra security in the courtroom, because they say, we know that this lady, she's able to do everything. And actually, her husband or her boyfriend, Gerhard Delling, he had told that last time he observed us when we were there. We are very, very afraid of what she's able to do. And that's, at that time, why talk about a kidnapping? So,
you know, when a woman would tell that story, then in Germany a court would laugh at her, and they would say she would be a little bit schizophrenic. She has mental issues, you know. When you as a woman would tell that story, she has no contact from one to another day, and that makes something with you. Yeah, I mean, it would be really astonishing when she would not even mind about that. Of course, she was totally worried, and she was maybe totally upset, totally desperate. She has tried it with the court in many ways, and he could really do everything what he wanted to do. When she had the children on New Year's Eve, after New Year, a few days later, the police were at her house, and 2021, nobody cared about the children now in Denmark, in his house. Nobody.
You know that actually Danish court, first family court, ruled that Stephan Hensel, he has violated the international law of child abduction, and the appeal court, the higher appeal court in Denmark, had done the same. But still, they say, we will let the children stay at his place because we are not aware of the behavior, what circumstances they will return to at the mother's home.
Yeah, there's really a clever strategy to keep the children at his place. In Germany, it's also like that nobody is believing really in this manipulation theme, because people who are not that into that topic, they say you cannot manipulate children like that, and there really had to be something cruel going on in the block house. Just the people understand what is possible in manipulating children who has made the same experience, or they are in psychology or whatever, but a lot of people can't believe that you can manipulate children like that.
Exactly the same here in Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, and psychologists in Denmark, they are saying that we do not believe in infantdom because that's not scientific proved,
Yeah.
and you cannot manipulate children. That's not possible, and that's why Stephan Hensel he can continue to keep the children there, and you know, in May, Christina Block was taken the custody, the shared custody.
Yeah.
And at the same time, she was not allowed to or her visitation right to the children was also taken from her. And that's because of statements in a psychology report, a Danish psychology report, saying that we cannot see that any of the children has been manipulated. They are talking of the own free will.
Yeah, that is so ridiculous, because when you really in that theme, then you know that it is, of course, it's possible to manipulate people. You know that when you are looking at toxic relationships as well, and there are so obvious signs, red flags for that. It is possible to manipulate us, so it's also possible to manipulate children as well. Of course, it's much more easier to manipulate children.
You can go on the net and find something called Mama's manual, and it gives you 5 steps how to manipulate the children and how to blame the father and to get the right of the
custody. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a man thing or just a women thing. It's when you are toxic.
When you compare it to the case, it is exactly what the Hensel and Have has done. They have followed the manual 100%. Astrid Have, the Danish wife, she went to the police a month after they kept the children in Denmark and asked for a restraining order to Christina Block, because she said, we are fearing her so much and she's able to do everything. And they did not get the restraining order, but they got alarm buttons for Clara. And the German psychologist that visited the family 3 times in Denmark, he write in his report, when I came, they were sitting in the kitchen playing, and it looked like a happy family. But suddenly, the children began to talk about the mother, and Clara showed me the alarm button and said, if mother come close to me, the police will be here within 3 minutes. To make such an arrangement, to tell your children that you have to fear your mother, and you have to fear her that much that you have to use an alarm button if you see her. That's terrible, and that's manipulation in top level.
It's also like a salami tactic. In Germany, you call it salami tactic. You start with one thing, you know, you tell one police officer, one judge, one expert, yeah, we have so much fear. There are no proofs, no signs, nothing, just his spoken words. And then one of them started with something, okay, alarm bonds, and that's the first level, you know? Then a journalist reports on that. Then it gets bigger and bigger, and then you create your own reality about the bad mother, bad family, horror family, and yeah, and the blocks, I think they can do whatever they want. It will not change anything because they are in that box now. They're not getting out of it. It's impossible. No matter what she's telling, what she's saying, it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, that's why I want to that my book will be published in Germany, because it tells the other side of the story. People in Germany, they need to know that this is not the right story that has been told in the news media until now. So hopefully we could change it.